1977, George Lucas formed a legacy.
Force is with me, and I am with the Force.
Inspired by mythology, his saga has become a passion for many.
Feel the Force around you.
His legend has become our story.
It's true. All of
One of resistance,
it. We are the spark that'll light the fire that'll burn the first order down.
rebellion,
Rebellion is built on hope.
and redemption.
I am a Jedi, like my father before me.
This is Star Wars Reactions.
Remember, the Force will be with you. Always.
Well, hello everybody, and welcome to a special edition of Star Wars Reactions. My name is Aaron Harris. I'm one of your hosts, and joining me, of course, as always, is my co-host, my friend, and my brother in the Force, David Motters. David, brother, how you doing?
I am doing well, my friend, although it's a time where we're getting together with, sad news. I'm still thankful I can be on and record with you and really talk about someone who's someone that, we just appreciate from many different angles. And so, again, ready to react about a really, really cool guy.
Absolutely, absolutely. Of course, you're seeing this in your feed earlier than you would normally see stuff. So obviously something has happened. And if you have not, unless you've been living under a rock lately, you would know that on Monday, May 18th of 2028, we lost a family member in the Star Wars universe. We lost the incredibly talented, the legendary Tom Kane. Tom Kane was a voice actor. Of course, most of the Star Wars fandom will know him as the narrator and the voice of Yoda on the Clone Wars. But he has done a number of other projects in Star Wars and outside of Star Wars through his voice acting career. And we of course had the opportunity to meet Tom, and had a great conversation with him back at Star Wars weekends back in the day. And being this was somebody who left a mark on the Star Wars universe and on animation as a whole, it felt like it was something we had to do something to honor this man, because he was just such a tremendous guy, and such huge talent. He had his fingerprints are everywhere, and as we were researching this episode, I was finding out things that he had done that I didn't even know he had done. And we're going to go into some of that. We're going to read some of the posts that his fellow Clone Wars fans have made in honor of him. We have a couple people that sent in some voicemails and to share their thoughts, and we'll share those. But we want to really honor Tom Kane in this, because he was just the world is a little less bright with him being gone. And I only had the chance to meet him there at Star Wars weekends, and haven't seen him since then. But he's one that you met and it left a mark when you meet someone, and he definitely was that guy. So everything went crazy when the news broke yesterday morning. It was announced by his PR people, Galactic Productions, an appearance agency. They posted at 10:57 a.m. May 18th that this is what they posted. Today we say goodbye to Tom Kane, legendary voice actor whose work shaped the childhoods and imaginations of millions around the world. From his unforgettable performances in Star Wars to countless animated series, documentaries, and games, Tom brought wisdom, strength, humor, and heart to heart to every role he touched. His voice became part of our lives, our memories, and stories we carry with us. But beyond the incredible career was an extraordinary man. Tom was a devoted husband and a father. Alongside his wife, built a loving family of 9 children, 3 biological children, and 6 welcomed through adoption and fostering. That compassion and generosity defined who he was just as much as his remarkable talent did. And though his voice may now be silent, the character's stories and the love he gave to the world will live on forever. Rest in peace, Tom Kane. Thank you for everything. May the force be with you always.
That was well said.
It's a well written release.
Mm.
I know when I got the news, I had not seen this. I had gotten home from work, and one of my friends messaged me in a group chat saying that he had passed, and my first response was like, in the chat was just like, no,
Yeah.
no,
No.
no, it can't be. And then of course it just started popping up everywhere at that point. Um, and it I will say, I remember when, Star Wars is an integral part of our lives, David. Obviously, we sit behind a mic and talk about it every week. But and these characters and these actors and voice actors, they have a lot of meaning to us. And I remember when Carrie Fisher passed away. I remember and the impact that had. But it this not having had the opportunity to have met Carrie and having met Tom, this kind of hit me a little bit different than it did then, because Carrie, I love she'll always be our princess. But there was just something about Tom, being that we had met him, and that one hit closer to home for me. And it kind of, Monday was already a rough day for me already because of everyday life going on, and ACs breaking, cars breaking down all at once. It just made for a rough day. But then this on top of that was just like the knockout punch.
Yeah.
What were your thoughts when you first heard that we had lost
Yeah.
Tom?
Well, I was at work as well, and it's funny because same thing for me. It was not a good day, and I like more than usual,
Mhm.
and kind of like you were saying, Aaron. Like I didn't know that was going on for you down where you are, or where you didn't know what was going on for me up here. But uh, being at work and just dealing with a bunch of stuff, everyone listening deals with stuff. But then the text came, you sent it in a thread that I'm on with you. And I saw that and I was like, wait, what? And in particular, like your response, Aaron, like that, no, I think I was like, wait, because the last stuff that I had heard, Aaron, was kind of that he was getting better and that he was actually doing some appearances.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought he maybe even had signed some stuff,
Yeah.
at something. And so that was the last thing I thought. So I thought he was on the mend. So I did not know that he was like not doing well. And maybe he was doing okay. And it just really, really kind of went south fast. Did you hear
It,
that or?
it did go south fast. He actually was at a con not 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
He was just getting back out. He was limiting
Hmm.
doing a limited circuit.
There it is. Yeah, that's
But
what I
he
thought.
wasn't. He was. He still can't talk. He still can't do. I mean, he had his stroke in 2000, which was heartbreaking then too, because he forced him into retirement. He lost the ability to
Mhm.
speak, do voices, and
Mhm.
do all this stuff. And he had never really recovered from that. He'd
Mhm.
gotten about as good as he was going to get, I guess you could say.
Okay.
Um, but to the point where he was he was comfortable enough, and his family was comfortable enough to allow him to start doing a convention here, convention there. I mean, he wasn't doing a lot, but he was starting to put himself out again. Um, which that stroke was 6 years ago, so it he took his time to
Mhm.
take care of himself, which is what he needed to do. And I follow his daughter Sam on Instagram, and she always
Mhm.
was posting updates about him and how he was doing, and she'd post photos and stuff of him. And I will say, from when he had the stroke and he started in the when she started posting pictures of him after the stroke, the one thing that struck me, even through the hardship, and through the hardship, through the loss of his career and the unsurmountable mountain of physical issues he had now had, he was still smiling.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah.
And there was just something about that was heartwarming, honestly. I mean, it was it gave hope to his fans, and I'm sure it gave hope to his family that this, through all everything he was going through, he could still smile.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and again, going back to what we were just talking about, so you backed me up. You said he had just done a con 2 weeks ago, and
2 weeks
I
ago.
seemed like I saw a couple pictures of that.
Yeah.
So again, my response is just complete shock because I thought he was on the mend, going to get better, going to do a few more cons each year, and I was hoping that he could continue to progress and get better. So that's why for me, it was more versus, right, it was more
Yeah.
of a really big surprise versus hearing, you know what, he's not doing well, he's not doing well, he's not doing well. It was he was doing better and better and better, and then
Yeah.
obviously went south. So complete shock because of the improvements we had recently seen.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Matter of fact, his last post on Instagram, on his Instagram page, was from the con he was at,
Mm.
where he had reunited with, because one of his projects outside of Star Wars, which you had mentioned earlier, was Powerpuff Girls. He played Professor Utonium, the father to the Powerpuff Girls, and he had reunited at that con with the three voice actresses who portrayed those
Uh,
three girls. And it was such a great picture because they're smiling and doting on him, and he's grinning ear to ear. He's just, he's happy. You could see the happiness.
mm.
um and I mean, they got him in a white professor's jacket, and they got his name stitched on it with the Powerpuff logo on the other side. It looks like a lab coat, and just like the character wore in the show. And it was a heartwarming photo, and it made its rounds quite well, quite quickly, and to see that it was see that we went from that just a couple weeks ago to we're now doing this tribute. It's definitely a roller coaster, my friend.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's this. Well, our listeners know I work at a place where people's health is progressively going downhill, unfortunately. And sometimes it's quick, sometimes it's fast. And you just never know. That's why we really talk about trying to enjoy each day. Definitely do it. Tom was 64 years old. 64, not 74, not
No,
84, not 94,
64,
64.
64. True. And to give you an idea of what this man accomplished in his life, um, I want to read you basically, and this is an article from Tom Kane's official website. It's what they titled it "Introducing Voice Actor Tom Kane," and it
Nice.
gives his history and some of the stuff he's worked on, and it'll let you know, it'll open your eyes to not just the Star Wars man or the Powerpuff Man, but to everything he has done.
Mm.
Um, so, according to this, Tom Kane started doing voiceovers at age 15. By 24, he had recorded hundreds of commercials and was regularly landing national TV spots. His tremendous vocal range led to a very busy career. Every week, he recorded movie trailers, cartoons, commercials, games, network promos, corporate pieces, talking ornaments for Hallmark, and the list goes on. He is Yoda, Admiral Akbar, Admiral Yularen, and other characters for The Last Jedi, Rogue One, The Force Awakens, Solo. His characters also star in the Clone Wars, Rebels, Lego movies, and TV series. The Avengers, Archer, Family Guy, The Powerpuff Girls, Wolverine and X-Men, Scooby-Doo, Shrek, Robot Chicken, Kim Possible, Foster's Home, Iron Man, Wild Thornberrys, and dozens of other animated series. In the Disney parks, he is the voice of the monorail, a dozen rides and attractions, and is the narrator of Galactic Nights and the grand finale spectacular that closes all Disney parks every night. Tom is the is almost excuse me. Tom is in almost all the Star Wars and Call of Duty games, plus Fortnite, Star Trek, Final Fantasy, X-Men, Batman, Avengers, Lord of the Rings, and many more. An unusual area of his work is voice doubling. When celebs aren't available for post production or testing or trailer recordings, Tom fills in for A-listers such as Morgan Freeman, Anthony Hopkins, Patrick Stewart, Ian McKellen, Liam Neeson, and others. He's also been honored to announce 5 Academy Award broadcasts on ABC, the 78th, 80th, 83rd, and 84th Academy Awards, and the opening for the 90th. That is just an incredible work history there. Like I told from this article and another one I had read, finding out he was the voice of the monorail.
Yeah, I know.
You know how many times I've been on that monorail?
Me as well.
And never made the connection.
No, me
Please
either.
stand clear of the doors. Apparently, he started doing that in 2012.
Jeez.
Please stay clear of the
Yeah.
doors. Por favor, manténganse alejados de las puertas. I tell you, it's
Yeah.
the talent this man has and had was incredible. But the thing that struck me, going through this history and going through all of it, is he loved what he did. And seeing him, you see videos of him in the booth, you see videos of him at cons through the years before he had a stroke and doing it. You could tell he loved what he did. And your son got to know that firsthand being on stage with him.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that was one of the, I'd sent video to you immediately, yesterday when I got home, and I popped in that DVD of that experience from June 7th, 2013, Star Wars weekends. And, Eli was fortunate enough to be called up on stage with 2 other people. And so it was, Jat, a young girl, Tom Kane, this kind of guy who's probably in his early 20s, Eli, and then Ashley Eckstein. And so the 3 guests up there did different voices. Eli was a Jawa, and Tom Kane's the narrator. And it was an actual Clone Wars script that was made for Star Wars weekends, right? It wasn't, and it was so cool that it was part of that weekend, but it was called, Star Wars Voices,
Yes.
and so, I sent you some video from that, and Tom Kane doing his thing. And in fact, after I watched, I'm like, oh my God, I just got to send the whole thing to Aaron, because you'll hear Tom not only do his classic, Clone Wars narrator voice, but even he does. I was watching after I sent you a couple clips. He was doing Bib Fortuna,
Yep.
and stuff like that. And so, it's such an incredible range, and it was so cool to see him up there. And it's such a contrast, right? So he's tall. Ashley and James Arnold Taylor are very short, and Tom is so tall, and him being the voice of Yoda always cracked me up. The tallest guy doing the shortest character, and so that was always really neat. In fact, I remember one time, Aaron, I think I was walking, oh, from that area where they would do their sign autographs, for Star Wars weekends. And he was walking back to actually go back to Premiere Theater. It's where, Galaxy's Edge is now. And,
Yeah.
and so he was walking, and I was walking with my wife and Eli and Lena, and I turn around and, you've talked about it a lot. I am a tall person. I am shrinking. Um, Aaron talks about that all the time, and he's so nice. But I'll tell you what, I turned around and I was looking up at Tom Kane, and he's a
Big guy.
tall guy. I think I saw 6'5". I can't. I would think he's 6'6", 6'7". I didn't look up his height before we jumped on, but I'm used to, like, he was the size of my teammates in college, 6'7", 6'8", 6'9". Now maybe he was 6'5". Maybe he shrunk like
According, I was gonna
what
say,
was he?
according to this, he's 6'5".
6'5". Yeah, that that doesn't check out to me. I think he was 6'6", 6'7". I know, like I said, I've shrunk an inch. I think maybe Tom had a little bit, but he's a big fella.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
was. He
but a
was a big guy.
gentle giant though.
Oh, absolutely. He
Yeah,
certainly was, and
yeah.
was a great guy. And you know, we had our experiences with him at Star Wars weekends, and I remember meeting him and talking to him for a few minutes. It was hot outside, so they'd moved him into uh, one of the rooms there off of the what
Hmm.
became
Hmm.
what's now the Frozen sing along, but
That's right.
what then was the American Idol thing. They had him in one of those rooms there, and I got to talk with him, shake his hand, get my picture, which I have been looking for 2 days for that picture, but I'm can't find it anywhere. I'm still looking. Um, but he was so nice, and I had one of the later signings that day,
Mm.
and I'm sitting there looking, going in to meet him, and by this time he had seen hundreds of people.
Mm.
He had done he had done two stage shows and the parade,
Yeah.
and he still had the nighttime show to do. So he had been through the ringer already. He had
Oh,
to
yeah.
be tired, but he was still grinning ear to ear. He was still peppy. He was still upbeat. He was still happy and talkative, and it was just a fantastic experience.
Yeah. I mean, just such a, those are long days. We know you and I've been there. Those are typically in May and June. They're hot days. Like you said, they do that motorcade, and the stage shows. So it's a long day for them. And it is it was Friday, Saturday, Sunday,
Yes.
and so, he's a pro's pro. And yeah, I'm just so glad to be able to say my son was on stage with him
Hmm.
and recorded a special Clone Wars episode. I just, it's looking back on it, that's 13 years ago, right about now.
Oh
End
yeah.
of May, beginning of June, 13 years ago. So
Absolutely,
yeah,
absolutely, and
yeah.
of course, this is a loss being felt throughout the Star Wars community, and not just for us, but for his coworkers and his fans uh, around the world. And just wanted to share some of the things that was set posted about him by some of his coworkers, and when we got some voicemails that we're going to play here at the end of the show that from some of our listeners and friends who wanted to share as well. Um, Stephen Stanton, who was just a tremendous voice actor in and of himself, posted, "It's so heartbreaking to hear of the news of the passing of my friend and castmate Tom Kane. He's an absolute legend in voiceover, from Star Wars and animation to movie trailers, the voice of the Oscars, and so much more. He was a dedicated family man, and my heart goes out to his wife and children and all those who loved him on this sad day. Rest in peace, Tom."
Mm, mm. Well, I have one from Steve Bloom. Of course, you and I were hanging with him last
Yep.
September,
Yep.
and I wanted to read this one. I thought it was so good. And so Steve Bloom says, a little over a year ago, I was lucky enough to spend some time with my dear friend, the magnificent Tom Kane, and his family. Even though a stroke stole his speech, his spirit was very much alive and well to the last. He inspired me for decades throughout his extraordinary career. As a brilliant artist, a loving, generous friend, a wonderful father, husband, mentor, and grateful Jedi. There has been truly a disturbance in the Force today, but Tom, your passion will live on with all of us and continue to inspire us for generations to come. You are still and will always be more powerful than you can possibly imagine. I love you and will forever be grateful for your presence in my life and the lives of countless others. See you again someday on the Outer Rim. Safe travels.
Catherine Tabor, who was the voice of Padme from the Clone Wars, posted and saying that we have lost our Yoda. My heart is broken for all of us. Praying peace and comfort to Tom's family, who I know loved him so very much. We all did, and always will. Rest in peace, Master. You will be missed.
This one is from Dave Filoni, and he released this. He says, Tom loved Star Wars. Fans may best remember him as the voice of the animated Yoda, but truly his voice was the spirit of the Clone Wars. His opening narration introduced an entire generation to the Star Wars galaxy, getting viewers ready for another adventure far, far away. When I was first starting out as a director, I was fortunate to have someone as legendary as Tom there to help me learn and guide me towards what the actors needed. Very Yoda-like indeed. Tom was selfless, giving so much of his time and energy to the Star Wars fan community. He loved the fans and showed up for them whenever he could. I'm so grateful for all that he did for me and for Lucasfilm. I'm so glad that his characters and voice will live on in many ways. Wherever you go, there's always a chance that Tom is the voice you hear guiding you through Disneyland or a galaxy far, far away. Farewell, Tom. May the Force be with you always.
Of course, Ahsoka Tano, Ashley Eckstein posted a whole bunch of pictures of the cast and crew together with Tom included, and posted the caption, Forever Family, always our Yoda. We love you and we will miss you, Tom.
Nice. Nice.
Now, I wanted to end reading one more post. This is a little of a bit of a long one. This is from Tara Strong, who's a voice actress. She was one of the characters from Powerpuff Girls and has a huge resume in and of herself in all things. I remember her best on the Batman series as Harley Quinn, but she worked with Tom quite closely and posted this and this was a beautiful post, and I figured I'd end with this before we go into our voicemails. So Tara says, they say there's no such thing as a perfect man. Those people never met Tom Kane. I never in my life met a sweeter soul or a better human being. He and his wife raised 3 beautiful children, then opened their hearts and adopted 6 more. 6 more. Imagine that. Visiting their home brought everyone joy. It was pure magic, authenticity, warmth, acceptance, and a lot of Star Wars. And his acting, everything he did it to perfection, but never in a predictable way. Tom always found something deeper, more creative, more thoughtful, weird, fun, unique, brilliant, giving, fun, supportive, kind. There was no one like him. I'm beyond grateful for all the hours we spent together in the booth, and so grateful we got to see him again recently. Hug him tight and tell him how much we love and miss him. There will forever be a hole in my heart. I love you, Professor. You were the best dad, the best human, and I feel so honored to have known you and called you my friend. Until we meet again in the recording studio in the sky.
Nice.
So,
Nice.
So we will, from here, we got a couple of voicemails we will go ahead and play right now.
Hello, Aaron and David. This is Greg from the Rebel Base Card Podcast. A little congested, I'm sorry, but I'm really happy you have devoted at least part of an episode to talking about the memory of Tom Kane and talking about, folks who have had a chance to meet him in person, or whether they had an autograph or they got to see him. I know you guys did a lot of those Star Wars weekends at Disney, and I'm really happy that you have had those experiences because, they were there really when it kind of kicked in gear with the Clone Wars and kind of, a large return of Star Wars animation. And I know that a lot of these folks, just like all the other Star Wars actors, are, starting to age out a little bit. But, I know it's difficult because you would have hoped that Tom Kane would have been able to continue his work just as some of the other folks, Steve Bloom and Vanessa Marshall and so forth in these newer animation projects from Lucasfilm. But I'm just happy we got to have what we have. He was an amazing voice actor. I loved what he did in Clone Wars, and I know he has a lot of other credits to his name. But I appreciate you guys taking a little time and reflecting on that, and appreciate all you guys do. All right, take care, and may the Force be with you.
Hi, Aaron and David. Just wanted to quickly talk about Tom Kane and what a great voice actor he was, how much he was the sort of narration of Chaz's childhood from Star Wars, the Clone Wars, doing some voiceover things for Pokemon, and then all the other cartoons that Mr. Kane was involved in just seemed to really encompass most of Chaz's years growing up, period. And then to be able to meet him at Star Wars Celebration in 2019, to also meet him at Star Wars Weekends and see him in the cavalcade or see him on stage with Ashley and James Arnold Taylor and Matt Lanter and the crew. So it's a sad day for all Star Wars fans and for all lovers of animation everywhere. Thanks, guys.
Thank you so much, Greg and Mary, for submitting those voicemails, those great tributes. And I love how Mary said Chaz. It was the voice of Chaz's youth. Tom Kane was. He grew up on the Clone Wars, and and I believe Filoni said it too in what you read. He truly was the voice of the Clone Wars. He opened every episode with that booming narrator voice that was just unmatched, and it really you can't watch Clone Wars and not know Tom Kane.
That's right. Yeah, I think the 2008, and I've told the story many times, when we took all of our boys, they were young, and we took them to the Clone Wars movie, and that started it, with Tom Kane and his voice. I kind of think of like when the Star Wars thing goes boom, and John Williams music hits. Like when you see Clone Wars, boom, and,
Yeah.
terror in the outer rim, or all this stuff. Separatists attacking from, it's
Yep.
Tom Kane, and it's him just starting that, and it's so good. And so I'm so thankful Mary said that, and also with Greg, I don't think he was feeling 100%, but boy, oh boy, he still, got a voicemail into us, and it was so
Appreciate it.
nice, and praising us for putting together an episode really quick, but just many thanks to him and to Mary for responding, and them throwing in their thoughts. It's much appreciated.
Absolutely, we do appreciate it, and of course we do want to, of course, start wrap this up, and wrap things up. Any last thoughts or anything else you want to say about the late great Tom Kane?
Yeah, I would encourage people. You don't even have to watch all the Clone Wars episodes. Just listen to the beginning and just listen to him just kind of just get you fired up for another adventure, kind of like Dave Filoni's In a Galaxy Far, Far Away. Or check him out as Yoda. It is so fun. And even him as Admiral Yularen, it's so good. But I would encourage people to listen to some of his work and listen to the range and the skill he had. I mean, it's staggering to me. Like I can't do like more than a voice or two, and it's just my throat starts to hurt, and he's just incredibly talented. But it's just, like we said, he was 64. It's way too young. We know that, especially when we think about our 70s, 80s. And I have clients in their 90s. So to lose him at 64 is a really big loss. But like I said, sending condolences to his family. And for all of us Star Wars fans, let's just, think about him a little bit when we're watching Mando and Grogu this Thursday. 21st or 22nd, right? Let's think about Tom a little bit. Yeah.
Exactly. Well said. Yeah, it's this one was a gut punch for me. I hate losing Tom. He was Tom Kane was a great actor, great voice actor. I knew he was in a lot of stuff, but I never realized how much until I started digging into it. And he's definitely, I can say, with seeing everything he's done, I could say he's been a voice in my life for a long time. I just never realized it. And I'm grateful for the opportunity to have met him when I did, and to talk with him and laugh and see him on stage. He was just a great guy, and it will surely be missed. No, of course, if you still want to, I know we recorded this now, and it's out live. But if you still want to share some thoughts about Tom Kane and his impact on you and everything, you feel free to do that. We still want to hear about it. We can even still share it on a future show as well. We, of course, all of our socials are open at any time for you. You can hit us up at Facebook and X at SW Reactions Pod, Blue Sky, Instagram, Pinterest, TikTok, Threads, YouTube, Tumblr at SW Reactions. You can leave a voicemail like Mary did at speakpipe.com/Star Wars Reactions, or email us an audio clip like Greg did at swreactions@gmail.com. Normally, I would end the show with a joke, a dad joke. But the demeanor of this episode, it just doesn't feel right. So you will get a reprieve this time. But don't worry, they'll be back. So, David, my friend, I appreciate you being able to jump on with me here at the last minute to record this, and appreciate everybody sending in their thoughts and their their thoughts and feelings on this. To Tom Kane's family, we love y'all. We're praying for y'all. We wish it. Our heart goes out to you in this time of mourning. To the Star Wars fans and animation fans and around video game fans around the world, we love y'all. We're praying for y'all. It's a hard pill to swallow when somebody's lost. But we will go on. We will move on, but we will never forget. We will never forget. Thank you, Tom Kane, for everything you've done. Remember, this is your place for elegant discussion for a more civilized age.
This podcast is not endorsed by the Walt Disney Company or by Lucasfilm Limited. It's intended for entertainment and informational purposes only. The official Star Wars website can be found at www.starwars.com. Star Wars. All names, sounds, and any other Star Wars-related items are registered trademarks and/or copyrights of Disney and the respective trademark and copyright holders. All original content of this podcast is the intellectual property of Star Wars Reactions, unless otherwise indicated. Star Wars Reactions. Elegant discussion for a more civilized age.